Welcome everyone to the Ken and Dante show. Again with us is our good friend Gino Caputi. No longer a special guest, now just a good friend.
No longer special, Ken?
Well, he's been here a long time now. So
okay.
The shine is worn off.
Cool.
All right, but glad to have you here, Gino. Thank you. And
thank you, gentlemen. Pleasure to be here.
Guys, I'm going to ask if you had to check a box, right? And one box is labeled awesome and the other box is labeled really awesome. What box do you check?
Well, wait. We'll get to Maverick in 1 second. Gino, just to give the audience just a general sense of where we're coming from, how did you like Top Gun
86? Funny you should mention, Ken, I just finished uploading the Top Gun review on Fabulous Film and Friends, my podcast. And you will, on that one, you will hear 4 like-minded people trashing the film. So all my friends from the era hated it. I really hated it. Hated it.
So on a scale,
like I walk
on a scale of 1 to 10.
So on a scale of
hated it with a passion.
A 3. Acknowledged. Dante, what's your take on Top Gun?
Top Gun, love it. I love it. Love it more every time I watch it. And I watched it again earlier today, actually. I watched Maverick last night. That got me fired up to watch Top Gun again. I'm very nostalgic for the 80s, so I don't know how much of it has to do with that, my nostalgia for the 80s, and how much I should attribute to the quality of the film. But I love it. I love the camaraderie with the guys, Goose and Maverick and Iceman and who's the other guy? Slider. You got the good guys and the bad guys, and then, spoiler alert, they kind of come together.
We're all on the same team, Dante. We're all on the same team.
Same team. But yeah, in a nutshell, love it. How about you, Ken?
It's like a sports movie. It's like any other generic sports movie, but it's jets instead of a football. So that's essentially it. It didn't have anything original to it other than the Jets.
You ready to jump into Maverick?
Ready to go.
Dive in.
I am.
Gino Caputi, Maverick, what box do you check? And if you have to come up with your own box, feel free to create your own box.
I got a new box.
Okay.
Very disappointing considering how Tom Cruise has grown. I was very disappointed in Maverick because his Mission Impossible movies are very good. They're not great, but they're competent, good potboilers. And he's gone from the irritating sort of hyperactive spaz that he was in 1986 and a few of his movies. As a young cocky jerk, he was kind of irritating to me. And when I say kind of, I mean hugely. So he has grown into sort of a John Wayne type. I mean, he is sort of a square-jawed, squinty-eyed heroic son of a gun now, and so I like him better in Top Gun Maverick than I like him in Top Gun, but the movie doesn't. I mean, I will say this for the first Top Gun, it has that sort of 80s rock video energy.
Yeah.
Whereas I thought the sequel was, beautifully shot. The jet stuff is impressive at first, until it starts straining credibility and credulity. Oh, look, an F-14, and it works perfectly. It's fully gassed up, and it's got all the weapons work. Great! I just thought, oh, man, this is really, really disappointing. I mean, I was just disappointed.
That's called good luck, Gino. Good fortune.
Gino, those are American-made F-14 Tomcats. They are always gassed up with full ammunition. That's how it rolls, Gino.
The fact that it became behind enemy lines for me just made it even worse. I was like, it's not even keeping the same spirit of the first one.
All right, so Dante, since for Top Gun I was kind of in the middle of you two, why don't we go with you first, and then I'll go.
Okay, Maverick, I really enjoyed it. Now, I love Top Gun. It's like number 4 on my guilty pleasures of all time.
Let's insert.
Even though Gino mentioned.
Let's insert a little tag for our Ken and Dante
little
show
promo.
Guilty Pleasures.
Even though Gino rightfully commented it doesn't qualify as a guilty pleasure because it's a gigantic hit. But anyway, I put it in at number 4.
Yeah, but because it's not a great movie, I mean, other people can like it, but it should be a guilty pleasure. They just outright like it, and that's just wrong. You shouldn't just outright like it. It can be a guilty pleasure. But
Dante shouldn't feel guilty about liking a movie that everybody else likes. That's all I'm saying.
100 million people went to. Maverick, it mirrors Top Gun in many ways, right? Like you kind of treat that character in a lot. It's mirroring. It's kind of
might call that rehash.
It's a rehash. And the part in Top Gun that got to me, obviously, when Goose,
Oh no!
So now, when we're watching Maverick, we're like 15 minutes into the movie. John Hamm, who is now being the dick, doing that little briefing. Okay, Tom, you've been commissioned to lead a bunch of recruits, even though you don't want to do it. And then John Hamm doesn't want to do it. I found that dynamic very interesting. Tom Cruise doesn't want to do it, and John Hamm doesn't want him to do it. You need something very compelling or powerful to make them both give in. And what is that one thing?
Iceman.
He is making it happen.
Can I just point out, Dante, that Iceman has cancer, which at this point he'd be finished. And his career in the military would be done.
Well, right.
And they would. This is just such a corny. This is such a corny conceit. Like, well, wait a minute. At that stage where he's about to die, he dies like a month later. Yeah. Sorry, spoilers, everybody.
Oh boy.
Which not only is that corny in the story, but it's terrible what they did to Val Kilmer. And I say that in my podcast
I
as
disagree.
well. Like, okay, let's get Val Kilmer and give him the role. He's got throat cancer in real life, so let's give him the part where he, can you imagine you're really dying, Val? Let's give you a part of the guy with cancer who dies. I just thought, whoa.
Well,
I wonder, Ken,
I also
what do you think of that?
Well, hold, just real fast. I had the same feeling, Gino. However, I also felt, well, wait a minute, but they're actors. Actors are often presented with situations that you have to inhabit. So, yeah, you've got throat cancer, and, what's going to happen specifically, we don't know. But as a character, your character dies. Well, that's the script. You're an actor. You do the script. It's okay. It's not a big deal.
It's such bad taste to have Val Kilmer's character die of cancer. I just thought it was horrible.
But they needed Val to die because it mirrors what happened in Top Gun. In Top Gun, right about the same point in the story, Goose, spoiler alert, dies, right? So now the mirror to that would be Iceman.
Yeah, but we don't need a mirror to a previous movie. We don't mind sequels that open up the story in myriad ways. Okay. So the thing about the Admiral dying, I mean, yes, it's a little close to the bone, but I accepted it. I didn't mind. The difference is that Val Kilmer has to go away because John Hamm has to take over the mission again. Yeah. So that has to happen. Yeah. So what else is gonna, the fact that the Admiral has cancer, it works. It plays into the story. I will say I was very impressed with the Val Kilmer scenes. Val Kilmer.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a winner.
Yeah, I mean the scenes I thought worked very well. I mean, again, the death. I don't think the death is important in and of itself. I could go either way. Mm-hmm. But the scenes I thought were dramatic, were emotional.
Thought it was a winner.
And he's too sick to run an office in the Navy. He's just too sick.
Right,
he can't even.
You want to give the audience what they want, right? We all know about the real life Val Kilmer and how he has a hard time right now. He's throat cancer. We all know that, and we all want him to be in the sequel. And they found a way to get him in, and I think they did, not a clever way. Gino's it's a little too on the nose kind of way, but we're all happy that Val Kilmer was in it. And like the more I watch Top Gun, getting back to the original Top Gun, I mean, Val Kilmer is really good.
Well,
really good in the movie. Part of it is his face. He looks like such a dick, right?
Well, yeah.
Like,
Boys, what's your problem, Kazansky? You're everyone's problem. That's because every time you go up in the air, you're unsafe.
he is the ultimate bad guy.
Well, let me step in.
No, he's not a bad guy. He's right. Tom Cruise is the bad guy. Tom Cruise is the jerk off who keeps putting people in danger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
well,
you know, Val Kilmer's right.
So let me step in.
He turns out he's not the bad guy, but he's the dick.
Well,
he's the dick.
No, they're both dicks. The thing is, they're both dicks. Aviators are dicks.
He's the voice of reason.
Tom Cruise is dangerous, Gino.
The wild card lies by the seat of his pants.
I think that it's great they brought him back. I think it's important, and I think they did a great job with it. The fact that he is in such a medical state right now today, but in the scenes, it comes off beautifully. Like, it's perfect. Him typing the stuff out.
Was a winner.
I couldn't disagree more.
Okay, but and he looks good. Like, I didn't think he would actually look good, but whatever they did with makeup or whatever, he looked really good. And so I think what they achieved in Maverick was everything we could have hoped for. But in the first movie, let me just make this point to Dante. It's not that good a role. You're right. He's a face. That's all he is. He's a face with a smirk and a slick haircut.
He's great in the limited role that he has.
Well, sure, but it's
really powerful.
He's
a handsome guy, and that's it. That's all he is.
He has that look.
That's all it is. The thing is, he has very few lines. It's only the look. He's there as a counterpoint to Tom Cruise, who is also a dick. He's a dick. They're both dicks, except Tom Cruise has a lot more lines.
Here's a question for you. You got to give Tom Cruise a love interest. In the first movie, you have Kelly McGillis and
Let me interrupt you. I think these guys are chicken shits. I think John Hamm should have been played by Kelly McGillis. I think Kelly McGillis should have gone to after Tom Cruise broke up and joined the Navy and become the admiral, and Tom Cruise has to report to her.
That's good.
And that's why he gets pulled back, because there's a relationship. I think John Hamm came out of nowhere. And why did they? Okay, Kelly McGillis is now living in Connecticut or something.
Okay.
And I just think that they're chicken. Like, why not get Kelly McGillis back? Just because she's not attractive anymore. And I think that's mean. Having Kelly McGillis and Jennifer Connelly face up about Maverick would have been a very interesting scene, because it just seems like then we'd understand that Kelly McGillis was not this true love and all that.
Then let me ask, the love interest, Kelly McGillis or Jennifer Connelly?
More chemistry with Jennifer Connelly. The first movie, the fact that they were actually going for each other actually seemed a little odd to me. She's obviously older than him, obviously more professional. The whole story of Top Gun is how Tom Cruise is a player. Players don't stop playing at 23. So anyway, I think there's a lot more chemistry with Jennifer Connelly.
Gino?
Well, it's an interesting. Ken's half right. Here's the deal. Kelly McGillis in Witness is beautiful, and she's naturally beautiful. And this is the Tony Scott, Jerry Bruckheimer cheese factory, turning her into this sort of overly made up hag in Top Gun.
She's not a hag.
It's because I just don't think she doesn't look
all
right.
she has.
She doesn't, to me, she doesn't.
All
look
she
right.
has is a square jaw.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish my premise. As a presence, Kelly McGillis is way stronger because she's a much better actress than Jennifer Connelly. I know Jennifer Connelly won an Oscar and all that. I don't buy it. I've always thought she was a middling actress who got pushed into the big time because she's beautiful, which happens a lot. Halle Berry. I mean, Jennifer Connelly's, when she started in Labyrinth and all her early movies, she was terrible. So Kelly McGillis is a much more talented performer, but she was just miscast. She was miscast, and in that 80s way, made up to look ridiculous. She's taller than Tom Cruise. She's more authoritative than Tom Cruise. She seems twice the match of Tom Cruise, and that
more
adds
man
than
he would ever be. No,
that adds to the whole gay factor. It's like, man, that movie is just so wrong-headed. In the sequel, I can see Jennifer Connelly. She's more Tom Cruise's speed.
As a guy that likes Top Gun, I buy the Kelly McGillis, Tom Cruise love thing.
Boy,
Even
I
though
don't at all.
it's not the best part of the movie. The best part of the movie is Tom Cruise with all the guys. You know, it's a buddy movie. I hate to say it.
Well,
It's a buddy movie. But
Kelly McGillis
like,
is sidelined when she shouldn't be. And she's a good character who's sidelined because she's completely misconstrued by the producers.
You get why Tom Cruise would go for her. I totally get why he would go for her. Why he would be attracted to her.
Oh, you mean the first
movie?
one?
Don't get why she would go for him.
And so Gino's right.
Yeah.
Like, why would she go for him? Because it's an act, right? She has a tough exterior. Deep down inside, she's a gal that wants to be loved, and she probably hasn't been in a while, right? And the most charming guy on the planet comes around, and she falls for him. That's the Tom Cruise magic.
that makes sense.
Got that $1 million
it's all
smile
fine.
and those eyebrows, and
Yeah, I mean, I do think, he was younger than her. It is a little awkward, but you're right. I mean,
no, it's an awkward romance.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally
Yeah.
awkward. But that kind of
guys, it looks incongruous. I was just posting the picture, the poster. Go to the Fabulous Film. Just look at the poster. It's an incongruous picture. He looks like a little kid. She looks like his mom.
Well,
it just doesn't. It doesn't work.
They got a
it
little
doesn't work at all.
May December going.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is,
No
though,
doubt about
the
it.
thing is, she is a professional in the real world. She has to be a certain age, and he is a brand new fighter pilot. It's like, did you just say, Dante? It's a May December romance. Is that what you said?
Yep. Look, I'm going to tell you my favorite scene in Maverick, and it happened right after John Hamm brings in Tom Cruise. A scene or two later, Tom Cruise is in the bar with Jennifer Connelly. What I meant to mention was I didn't think Tom Cruise and Jennifer Connelly had any chemistry whatsoever.
Oh, I did.
I just didn't
Absolutely.
I didn't think there was anything.
Oh, yeah.
Thought very, very little. But anyway.
I'm going to interject. I think Ken wants to have chemistry with Jennifer.
Yeah, I think that's
She is the
true.
most beautiful 51-year-old woman I've ever seen.
I know, but Tom Cruise, I didn't find it. But anyway, what I'm getting at, Tom Cruise gets thrown out of the plane. Take my breath away. Boom, he has a flashback. That, to me, that's kind of, I won't call it movie magic, but it's powerful, right?
We call that
powerful.
movie manipulation.
And we get the flashback. To me, it's not manipulation if it works. The only rule is it working or not, and it worked for me, right? And they have that flashback, and then they're connecting Maverick with Top Gun. Goose and Tom Cruise playing piano. And Meg Ryan is there, and the little kid is there. Little Miles Teller is there. The more they connect Maverick to Top Gun, the better. Because we love Top Gun. Not so much Gino, but people like me who love Top Gun.
But Tom Cruise has reached a stature, especially if you look at his Mission Impossible. He doesn't need a love interest. He's like the giant star.
I just don't want anyone to know that I've fallen for you.
If anybody's watching Top Gun for the love story, fie on them. He doesn't need it. So I'm just surprised at how safe this movie is. I mean, it's really like your standard issue, generic, boring action movie, just like the first one.
Yeah, but that's what Hollywood does, Gino. That's the problem.
I know, but Tom Cruise, I'd say his output in the last 20 years has been usually very solid. Top Gun is really a cheesy 80s movie. It really is like a music. It's like a music video movie, and you may enjoy it, but it has no substance.
You bring up something very important: the music. I really like the music in Top Gun. I like Danger Zone. I actually love that Berlin song. I love it. Take my breath away, which they use, which I didn't realize till today. They use it many times in the original Top Gun. They, like 3 or 4. It's like the love theme, and then they actually have a love theme. I'm assuming it's by Faltermeyer.
Harold Faltermeyer,
which is a really great love theme. And so I love the score music, and I love the rock and roll and everything else.
Dante, if we're talking about music, that's why the first movie's better. I like.
better
you know
music.
how I'm ripping on the first movie. I still think I can understand. Okay, I can understand why the sequel's a hit because the flying is spectacular, but it doesn't. To me, it takes a back seat to its generic plot. The first movie still has that sort of, as you call it, that concoction. I don't like it, but I understand. I understand where it has an appeal to people because it's a visual movie and it's a soundtrack movie.
We're not getting a deep story, but we're getting an emotional story.
Oh.
Like, I think you can connect to Top Gun in an emotional way. And there's a couple of scenes in Top Gun that get to me emotionally.
Sir, let go of him. You gotta let him go, sir.
Boy,
I
saw that coming a mile away when I was 16, Dante.
Even though you know it's coming.
I didn't see it coming a mile away, but I was not affected by it. Here's the difference. Well, for me, the main difference between the two movies, and the thing is, the second movie is extremely like the first movie. Like, it wouldn't have worked if they did this 5 years after the first one, because it's just a carbon copy. But 30 years later, I can grant them some liberty. But the difference is, I found the first movie not emotionally engaging at all. It was a sports movie, but not a very dynamic sports movie. I in my head, I was likening it to like Rudy. It could have been a Rudy, but I'm like, wait a minute, no. But Rudy actually had some real emotional substance to it.
Rudy's about him.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Rudy.
Right, and so that's the thing. So I'm like, wait, no, it's not like Rudy. Rudy is a better sports movie than Top Gun is. But the second movie, Maverick, I feel, has that emotional connection that Top Gun did not have. I felt very connected to the characters in Maverick.
Can we compare the young guys in Top Gun versus the young guys and gals in Maverick?
I think Miles Teller's a good actor.
He's very good. Yeah.
He embodied
perfect for the son.
He made himself. He made himself look like, and he seemed like Anthony Edwards' son.
Perfect. Same mustache.
I think he did.
Same mustache.
He did same mustache. He plays the song. He's a talented singer, much more talented singer than Anthony Edwards. He can actually sing the song.
Yep.
You know, it's like
Very
so
good.
he was a good choice. The thing about the first Top Gun is it's really a sort of calling card for Tom Cruise and how awesome he is. Well, the sequel was hilarious. I mean, at this point, he's like, you know, Rocky or Rambo. It's just like, okay, so the Maverick, he's just pure awesome, you know. He can fly this rickety plane and kill everybody.
Well, he's a great pilot.
He's just too awesome. Now he can't fail.
In the original Top Gun, he does not become Top Gun. He right? I mean, there are reasons out of his control. He becomes number 2, but he does not become Top Gun.
Right.
I think in that way, it's a little layered, a little more nuanced than a bad, action movie. We kind of know what's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen. Like, we know they're going to win at the end. The U.S. loses the war. We know that's not going to happen.
What war?
I know. Whatever they were doing out there in the Indian Ocean. I don't know what they were doing.
That's the problem.
What were they doing out there? Who were we fighting?
It's the same thing. Like, what's their objective? Why are they fighting? What's going
Well,
on? Why are these movies? Why do people love these movies so much? There's nothing defined.
But the ending is neither here nor there. The ending, what they're doing, like the battle, doesn't matter. I think the important part is Tom Cruise has closure, and then the guys, they're rivals in the beginning, right? Iceman and Maverick. Rivals don't like each other, but at the end, Ken, what's the quote? Go ahead.
They're all on the same team. The irony of all this, of course, is that the reason Goose dies is because of Iceman, not because of Tom Cruise. Iceman stuck into that fight much longer than he should have. Tom Cruise needed to take the shot, and Iceman was doing the wrong thing. And so Iceman needs some blame, and nobody talks about Iceman at all. But anyway, that's a different story.
No, it was a malfunction. Ken, nobody was to blame.
No, but that's another thing. The thing about all these sorts of movies, like, there's so many things that are just so obviously pat that should not be pat. Like, when you're in the wash of another jet,
We're in a jet wash.
that should be a known thing about physics, that you don't get in the wash of another jet plane. That should just be like written in stone. And so to say that, oh, nobody could have predicted this. If it's a thing, if being in the wash of a jet is bad, you'd think you'd know it if you're in the Air Force.
I think all movies are contrived, right? Like Ken and I, we go back and forth. Ken is like, that's contrived, that's manipulation.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's every movie ever made.
Right.
Manipulation and contrived.
A skilled writer gets you there emotionally.
So,
a clunky writer throws shit out there and expects you to feel emotion when you shouldn't. Why should we? It's confusing.
okay.
Dante, I've watched it twice now. It's like I don't understand why Goose died. Really, it just seemed like they needed him to die because
Gino,
the script predicted
Gino
it.
was a malfunction. You can't.
No, Gino is right. They needed him to die. In order for Maverick to continue on his journey, the filmmakers wanted his best friend to die.
Right.
In order for Maverick to become who he became at the end. So why did they make him die? Why does that make Tom Cruise a better character?
I mean, hopefully it makes him a better character.
Because he doesn't when he has adversity, right? We can relate to people like nobody likes a movie where the guy, like I don't like John Wayne movies. Why? John Wayne is right all the time. I find that very boring. John Wayne wins all the time.
And somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. But I won't. I won't. The hell I will.
Tom Cruise is wrong a lot, right? In Top Gun.
In the first one.
Tom Cruise has adversity, even the ultimate, your best friend dying.
The thing is, Top Gun is a very, very formulaic movie. There's nothing special. There's nothing. They're not breaking any new ground. Except for this one thing. The new ground they're breaking is that these are jet fighters. We haven't seen that before. So it's just a typical paint by numbers sports movie with jets. Now, because it's with jets, it ups the quality a little bit. I think the best scenes of Top Gun is the opening of the jets landing and taking off from the carrier. I think that those are the most interesting and dynamic shots of the film. The rest of it is pretty rote.
Yeah, let me take a stab at that. You touched on the formulaic aspect of Top Gun. There are 100 or maybe even 1,000 formulaic movies made in the 80s and 90s, right? 1,000 of them. 2 or 3 will become more than a formulaic movie.
Right.
I'm proposing that Top Gun is one of those 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It can be critiqued for everything you mentioned, but it rises above it. How come? Why do people like me really, really enjoy the movie and have an emotional connection to the movie? The actors are very good. Anthony Edwards, Val Kilmer, the guy who played Slider, Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis did her part. Tom Skerritt was very good. The actors were very good. We were in high school when we watched the movie, or just got out of high school. We wanted that camaraderie with the guys, you know. We all longed for that. You get that in Top Gun. They have that rivalry, but the camaraderie, the music, and then Tony Scott magic. The guy is a very, very good visual filmmaker, right? And a lot of things kind of came together in the music. No, so
I think Tony Scott's problem is he always shot too many close-ups, and it's Jeffrey Kimball who's the director of photography. He did a lot of Tony Scott movies. Their whole style was always sort of extreme close-ups.
Yeah.
And it's even in Top Gun where the geography. Now, obviously, the sequel's far superior because we understand the geography of the jets. I look at Top Gun, the first one, and I don't see magic. I just see sort of a stew of music video style quick cuts that don't really tell an aerial battle story very well. It was much more impressive in the sequel.
Yeah, sure.
But I will say the first movie just has the look, has the sound, has the energy of it just has that. Yeah. Where the sequel's much more sober and somber. It's one of those movies, to me, just didn't find its footing. My expectations were way high. From Ed Harris to, John Hamm and all of it. I'm like, man, and the first thing is like, why did they get Kelly McGillis? His character I don't know this guy, I don't care. So, I mean, Ed Harris lecturing, this 99-year-old admiral lecturing Tom Cruise on what he's doing with his life just seemed hilarious. I mean, every scene in this movie is throwing me out of the film. I'm like, this film isn't working.
There are obviously problems with Top Gun Maverick. I mean, again, the two things about Top Gun Maverick rips off Top Gun left and right. Not even just, not story-wise, because obviously you're going to do the story similar, but the shots. You're opening the movie with the same shots you opened the first movie with. You've got the same fighter out of control. You got the same. I mean, almost every step is very, very similar. Also, you're ripping off Star Wars, like just a blatant rip-off of Star Wars, which I don't think you should be allowed to do.
The first movie still has a very Star Wars element to it. The sequel, for sure, because they're raiding a base.
But I mean, the three things is they're going through the canyon. They've got the missile the missile defense system,
you're right,
and the exhaust port. I mean, the big thing, we got to hit the exhaust port exactly right, and I think it's even 3 meters, just like in Star Wars. And then lastly, probably the first movie does this, but it wasn't so relentless that I didn't notice it on the first movie. But the second movie, absolutely at the end, I forget who it is, but they're about to all die, and then of course, it's Hangman. Hangman comes out of left field. He's grounded on the carrier. Yeah. He's just sitting there. And then our heroes are about to die, but no, Hangman's out in the sky killing the bad guys. That's just like Han Solo in the first one. I mean, much more than the first movie.
Yeah, well,
you're right about that.
Let's see what you got. Hangman's coming.
One reason I love Top Gun is the camaraderie amongst the guys, right? We all had that longing to be in a group of cool guys, right? Maybe you guys never had that longing. I don't know. Like, Gino, you played sports, right? You played baseball, and you were part of a team. Ken, I don't know if you
I played Little League.
Part of a team.
Played Little League and disliked it.
We're bringing our own personalities to the movie. It's all about, at the end, the characters kind of coming together as one team. In the fictional world of Top Gun, what happens at the end? The a-hole, Val Kilmer, he's not an a-hole after all. It was a rivalry. He wanted to be Top Gun too, and he's actually gonna be your wingman. He's gonna be your wingman, Ken, or you're gonna be his wingman. Right. I can't even remember who was whose wingman.
You can be my wingman anytime.
Bullshit. You can be mine.
One thing I want to bring up real quick is I bought the Top Gun Maverick soundtrack.
Whoa.
I like Harold Faltermeyer's music. I was happy that Harold Faltermeyer and Hans Zimmer, who I don't love, as you guys may have heard me rant about, I like their collaboration because together they produce, because obviously Harold Faltermeyer probably influenced Hans Zimmer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I liked that collaboration. I bought the soundtrack. Jeez. I've never liked Danger Zone. And I did not like the new volleyball scene. Less gay. The new volleyball music was less gay, but also less interesting than the Kenny Loggins playing with the boys. Interesting. I don't like the song, but I liked it used in the soundtrack. When they first go on the attack, when they leave the aircraft carrier, they're playing Danger Zone as the background music.
Oh, see, I didn't even catch that. I didn't. And
as a bit of soundtrack, it worked really well.
Yeah.
I think in Top Gun, the opening shots on the carrier of the real planes, I think that's something we had never seen before. That was really great. You do it again on Maverick. We've seen it before on a movie 40 years ago. But then they cut to the Dark Star, and that was like, holy crap, that's a plane. And so I thought that whole sequence was really good, up until, like this is they're going to shut down the project. They're going to shut it down. They got to go from Mach 9 to Mach 10. That's 10% more than they ever thought they were going to have to do. And Tom Cruise does it. And he's like, you know what? These guys, I'm going to put everything at risk, and I want to go even faster. Now, 9 was as much as that program was supposed to go, and he pushed it 10% more. He's like, I'm going to do more. And of course, the plane gets destroyed. I would have kicked that out of that program so fast.
Okay, volleyball scene in Top Gun versus a little bit of football on the beach in Maverick. Gino, which one do you like better?
Cultural impact on the first movie much higher. The second movie was, again, a rehash and didn't have the impact.
Ken?
Yeah, I mean, I liked them both. I mean, Gino's right that, of course, the first one had the cultural impact because it had, sort of a new thing. Second one, been done before, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Again, bringing the team together. I liked it.
Some people claim that the Top Gun movie, the volleyball scene, had a little homoerotic subtext in it, and that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to make judgment one way or the other. Do you believe that to be true, Ken Wright?
But the thing is, I hope they're doing it for the females in the audience. Maybe not. I don't know. The one thing I'll say is when after Goose gets killed and Tom Cruise is feeling bad and he's in the bathroom and Tom Skerritt comes in to say, "Hey, buddy, it's nobody's fault." Tom Cruise is in his tidy whities. I'm like, well, that's an interesting choice. Be in your tidy whities in the bathroom. But again, it's Tom Cruise. They're going to make him a star. You want to see those buns, and it worked.
Yeah. Okay, it's a moment of truth. Do we recommend it? I'm going to go first. I would recommend it. I'll recommend it to anybody. Don't have high hopes. Go in for a feel-good, good time, good ride. Watch it at the theater, and let me know in the comments what you think. Gino, Ken?
Well, I'll go next. I would recommend it. There were additional elements in Maverick that I didn't see in Top Gun. I did enjoy them. Again, it's not Citizen Kane, but I would give it a 7.8, which is worth going to see. And I would, again, it's not a great movie. It's enjoyable. It's Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise. He is one of the last great movie stars. I feel it. He did a good job. Good for Tom Cruise.
Okay. Gino?
I'm torn because I think as a movie, the first Top Gun, I gave it a 3, and I hold to that, and I don't want to give Top Gun Maverick a 2 because it's a very skillfully made movie. I would recommend it only if you want to watch real actors fly real jets. But as a story, it's even less satisfying for me than the first one. So I don't know how to. I don't want to say it's a 3 because it's a movie with a lot of money and a lot of skill put into it, but for not.
Thank you all for joining us on this episode. Thank you, Gino. Not a big fan of the movie, but good points all around. All right, Dante, till next time.
Till next time. Alrighty, guys. Alrighty, Gino. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
See you later.
Talk to you later.
See you down the road.